Welcome to the forest. I'm just doing a tiny little task here at the edge of the bonsai garden. Well, it's the edge right now, but the bonsai garden is continuing to expand. So next year, this won't be the edge of it anymore. I'm just putting up a little protection here on a beautiful little yew tree. It's my second favorite tree in the world. And this is my second yew tree. There's another one. Oh, you can't see it. It's past that ultra gigantic burning bush, euonymus. Anyways, I'm finished with this. I wanted to show you something before we get to what I really wanted to show you with the pawpaw. This spot here, this very large ring here, used to be, until yesterday, a very large Colorado spruce, which is obviously not native. And I'm not really a stickler that absolutely everything must be native, but this definitely didn't belong. This is, nope, no good. Especially because it's so close to the house, and this is prime area for fruit trees. Speaking of which, look what was hiding within the Colorado spruce. I didn't even know that this mulberry tree was here at all, because you can only see this little area here that I've cleared, but the actual ring that the tree occupied was much further. It was out to about here. And so that included this mulberry tree. In fact, two. Here's a little baby as well that I think I'm going to be giving away this fall, because there's a couple of people who expressed interest in having some mulberry trees. This is perfect size, especially because it's in this extremely loose sand. Like, look at how loose this is after whatever it's been, 40 years. I'd have to count the rings, but I'd say, yeah, probably 40 years that this Colorado spruce was here, dropping its needles and turning this into sour soil. This is going to be acidic because of all of the rotting needles. So you know what I'm going to do here? In this perfect ring-shaped area, I am going to transplant blueberries, because the forest is loaded with wild blueberries. This must have been a blueberry farm before Walter McCall bought it at around 1900, maybe the late 1890s. I'm not sure what year he bought this property. He planted it in 1906. But at any rate, there's just blueberries everywhere. Everywhere. As soon as I have any kind of opening in the forest, blueberries are there right away. So the whole place is just covered in dormant blueberries that have been dormant for over 100 years. And so they're always growing along the trail, and I just opened a little area for a chestnut tree, and it's loaded with blueberries. So perfect. In the fall, or maybe late in the winter, before spring, late winter, that would be the perfect time. I will move a whole bunch of them here and turn this into a perfect, nice, sunny blueberry patch here. That's going to be excellent. So anyways, that just came to mind right now. So this video is going to last a little while longer than I want it to. It's really, really hot. So I don't want to spend too much time. I wanted to show you what I'm going to do to this mulberry tree. So let's take a look. As you can see, it's actually pretty big. It's very tall. It's at least 11 feet tall. And the great thing about this is, because it was growing inside of that spruce tree, look at the size of these branches. That's actually Oh, you know what? This would be technically the leader if it was straight tall, because this is actually taller than this one, but it made this one the leader. This is thicker, it's stronger, it's straighter. And so now this has become a branch. And the beautiful thing about this is to have such a long branch. Look, it just wants to lean. And if you saw this video, then you know that this is exactly what I want. I want branches that are leaning. Like, look at this one too. So even though I can't tell you how old this tree is, but I can guess that it's about 4 years old, maybe 5. Yeah, looks like it's maybe 5. Next year, mark my words, next year, this is going to be loaded with fruit on these branches, on these nice, long, drooping branches. So this is going to be great. Well, this one too, this one that's pointing at you, it's quite thin, but just look at that. It's, again, it wants to go down because it was growing in these crazy conditions inside the covering, like completely enclosed by that spruce. So I'm going to do one thing right now, and that is I'm going to snip it right here. There we go. And that way, I don't want it to get tall, crazy tall. I want it to bear fruit. So I think I'm going to get rid of this. And there we go. I don't think I'm going to do too much else. Maybe I'll get rid of these suckers while I'm here. These aren't the right pruners for this job. Yes, I shouldn't have done that because now I damaged the other part, but there you go. It's fine. It's still growing nicely. Don't want any branches that are pointing up. So I'll come back with the right pruners later and get rid of all these ones that are growing up. Okay, let's get to the pawpaw tree. Will you look at this thing? Can you believe that this was crushed by that falling maple just a month ago? This new growth is just phenomenal. And these leaves, unfortunately, it's being attacked by the Japanese beetles. But look at this leaf. This is just spectacular. And there's ones that are even bigger down here. Here's one that's its twin on the other side. Beautiful, huge leaves gathering the sunlight and converting it into new growth. Beautiful, beautiful. But it's growing so fast that I keep having to replace these perches because it's getting taller than the perches. And next thing you know, Mr. Kingbird or Phoebe or Bluebird and et cetera, all the insectivores, somebody's going to land on the tip and that'll be it. This incredible streak will be over. And I don't want that to happen because we want this to just keep getting bigger and bigger. That's already half a meter of growth. It's just stunning. So let's get this out. See if I can take this off by hand. There we go. And I just happen to have this replacement ready to go. This is from a black cherry. Nice hardwood. Well, it's not very much taller than that tree is now, so it's not going to be here for long with the way this guy is growing, but that's fine. I just wanted to show you what I have to do. So now we'll just nail this down onto here. And there we go. We have a new perch that's just a couple of inches taller than the pawpaw. These pants are kind of loose. So anyways, there you go. I just wanted to show you how incredible this is. In case you're wondering, these are squash plants. I like to plant them right underneath the trees, not the chestnuts, but these other trees. That way when I'm cutting the grass, which I'm going to do right after I finish shooting this video, it's just less obstacles to work around. I already have to go around the tree anyways, so just makes it easier. I go around the squash at the same time. Speaking of squash, take a look at that one right behind the camera. This is just perfect because I'm going to be making a pot of stew tomorrow, and I just ran out of the squash in storage from last year. You can see that the bottom half of this is, the bottom side is ripe. The top side, not completely, but you know what? This is perfect. It's still going to be fine for making stew. And this is such a wonderful early treat because it's still July. And here I am harvesting squash that I grew from seed. I grow them all from last year's seeds. So this is really early, but we had a very strange spring this year. In the case of the squash, strange and wonderful. I forgot one thing that I want to show you before I go. This is a pawpaw that I got from a good friend, a little baby pawpaw, to help make up for the disaster that happened this spring. It's good to have more genetic diversity for cross-pollination. So this was just planted a few weeks ago, and look at the beautiful new growth on it. Can you see how it's changing there from brown to green, the actual stem? So that was the tip at the time. And this is all new growth since it was put into the ground here. This is July. And it's very hot and very dry. But I've been watering it and feeding it, and obviously it's responding. And as you could see, protecting it from the deer, because they don't like to eat this, but when they're small like this, when anything is small like this, it's just a natural target. It's at the mouth level for young fawns, and they don't know yet what's good to eat and what's not. And so they will just take the top right off. In one mouthful, all of this new growth would be gone. So it's so incredibly important to protect young things from the deer. Because as I said, fawns just don't know. And so they will browse and destroy. But not this.